Okay, let's set the scene. It's the years before the American Civil War, and millions of people are enslaved in the United States. I mean, it's just a brutal reality. But even then, some incredibly brave people were willing to risk absolutely everything for freedom. And today, we're going to talk about one of the most courageous of them all, the one and only Harriet Tubman. So, before we really jump in, I want to ask you something. What do you think makes a true hero? Seriously, is it about being strong, or is it something more, like sacrifice? Just, keep that question in the back of your mind as we get into the incredible life of Harriet Tubman. All right, Section 1, an unlikely hero. To really understand the legend she became, we have to go right back to the start, way before she was the famous Harriet Tubman. We need to meet the person she was born as, a young girl named Araminta Ross.
So Araminta, or Minty as folks called her, was born into the brutal world of slavery in Maryland. Her days, they were filled with just backbreaking labor, under conditions we can't even really imagine today. But here's the thing, while her body was forced to work in those fields, her spirit, that was already looking somewhere else. It was looking toward the horizon, dreaming of what it would feel like to be free.
And as if all of that wasn't enough, something happened when she was a child. She suffered this awful head injury, and it left her with a lifelong burden. We're talking severe headaches and these sudden, uncontrollable sleeping spells. It was a condition we now call narcolepsy. And you can imagine, this wasn't just an inconvenience. It was a constant, dangerous challenge she had to deal with for the rest of her life.
But, and this is what's so incredible, that constant physical struggle, it didn't break her, not even close. In fact, you could say it forged her will into something like steel. She became known for this just unbelievable strength and a determination that was, it was absolutely unbreakable. It was like this inner fire that was getting ready to just explode and ignite one of the most amazing journeys in American history.
All right, Section 2, the first journey north. So now we get to the moment. That one pivotal decision in a person's life that changes everything? For her, it was the choice to set off on a path that would literally change the world, her own escape from slavery.
So, in 1849, she did it. She escaped. She started heading north, chasing that promise of freedom. But you have to understand, this journey was beyond dangerous. Every single step was a huge gamble. There was this constant threat of being captured by slave catchers, and if that happened, it meant brutal punishment, or worse. But somehow, against all of those odds, she made it.
And, this right here, this is the moment that, for me, really shows you who she was. Harriet was free. She was safe. She could have just stopped, build a new life for herself, and never ever looked back. But she didn't do that. Instead, she made this extraordinary, almost unthinkable choice. She decided to turn around and go right back into the lion's den she had just escaped.
Section 3, Moses of her people. And yeah, that one decision, it changed everything. She wasn't just someone who had escaped anymore, she became a rescuer. She became a conductor on the Underground Railroad, and she earned this incredibly powerful nickname, Moses. Because just like the biblical Moses, she was leading her people to freedom.
And hey, just so we're all on the same page, the Underground Railroad, it wasn't a real railroad with trains and tracks, not at all. Think of it as this secret network of incredibly brave people, abolitionists who were fighting to end slavery and all their allies. They set up secret routes and safe houses, all with one single purpose, to help enslaved people find their way to freedom.
So let's just try to wrap our heads around the sheer scale of her bravery, okay? How many times did she go back? She made around 13 separate trips back into the absolute heart of slaveholding territory. And every single one of those was a life-or-death mission.
Okay, so 13 trips. And on those trips, how many people did she personally guide to freedom? About 70. 70 people, including her own family. And this wasn't just luck. She was smart, strategic, and absolutely fearless.
But this is the number that just floors me every time. Out of all those dangerous trips, deep in enemy territory, with slave catchers everywhere, guess how many people she lost? 0. Not one. Her record was perfect.
And her own words just say it all, don't they? I never lost a passenger. Think about that. That's not just a boast. That's a testament to her genius, her courage, and her incredible skill as a leader.
Section 4, Spy, Scout, and Soldier. So you might think, okay, conductor on the Underground Railroad, her legacy is set. But no, the story was far from over. When the Civil War exploded, Harriet's journey took another, just astonishing turn. She became a crucial asset for the Union Army.
And I mean, she wasn't just sitting on the sidelines. Not a chance. She jumped right in, serving as a nurse for wounded soldiers. But then she took on even more dangerous jobs. She became a scout, sneaking behind enemy lines to gather intelligence. And, yeah, she was a spy.
And all of that work led to what is, for me, maybe the most staggering fact of her entire life. You really need to let this one sink in. Harriet Tubman became the first woman in the history of the United States to lead a military mission. The first woman ever.
And you might be wondering, so how'd that mission go? It was a massive success. She didn't just participate, she helped plan and lead a raid that freed hundreds more enslaved people. Just think about that evolution, from a personal rescuer, one person at a time, to a full-blown military liberator. Okay, Section 5, a legacy of freedom. So, the war is over, slavery is finally abolished. You'd think, okay, now her work is done, she can finally rest. But for Harriet, nope. The fight for justice, for equality, that was a lifelong thing for her.
So she spent the rest of her life fighting for other crucial causes. She advocated for education for African Americans. She worked to get help for people who had been enslaved and were now trying to build new lives. And on top of all that, she was a powerful voice in the fight for women's rights and the right to vote.
So, let's circle all the way back to that question from the beginning. What defines a true hero? Well, when you look at Harriet Tubman's life, the answer is right there, isn't it? It's a masterclass in courage, in leadership, and in pure selflessness. Her life is absolute proof that one single person, can make a massive, monumental difference in the world.
Harriet Tubman's entire life was about one thing: the fight for freedom in her time. Her story is just this incredible testament to what one determined person can do. And so it kind of leaves us with a question for ourselves, right? Her fight was for freedom then. So what's the fight for today? What are the struggles for justice and freedom that need our courage right now?